How you doing, Andy?
Bad man yourself.
What have you got on, mate? You look a total weapon.
So I do something different. I found a hat like you. I seen you had the hat on the other day.
Yeah, like you sent me. Yeah, bang on, isn't it?
Ah, it's all right. Yeah, I used to wear
Roch,
baseball caps years
Roch,
ago, but
Roch wants one.
does he want one? Is he?
You got a spare one?
I'll send him that one down. He can have my one if he wants.
All right, nice one. I thought I'd put me John Fury mug shot up because somebody's complaining. So I thought I'd keep it up just to let the geezer who complained. This is Big John Fury, a big fighting man, when he got arrested for taking my pal, Opie Sykes' eyeball out. A 5'4", 10 stoner. That's him there after 20 odd hours in cells just being charged. You know, when they charge you and roll your fingers in, take your fingerprints. Look at his eyeballs there, crying like a little girl, but not as many tears as he did in Doc when he got his stretch.
Yeah,
Pop,
yeah.
pop.
He looks a sorry sight there. Doesn't
Oh, yeah. Well, you can imagine, can't you? Pleading for your life and all that, but knocking a small man about. Well, that's what they're good for, aren't they? Bullies, charlatans. That's what they are, mate. Confidence tricksters. Listen, whether he's cut or not, I don't care. You know why? Because it's karma, isn't it? If he has been cut, it's karma. If it's fake, and listen, you won't put it past him, would you? You won't put it past him being fake. And we all know what goes on behind the scenes. Listen, do
he? You
these
were right.
people, do these people in the media or these fanatics, right? Do they actually think that nobody has ever faked a cut eye injury in the sport of boxing? You utter goonies, absolute goonies. They've still got a contract locked in. They're still got to fight. He's got a two-fight deal with Usyk and one with Ngannou. And there's 150 million there for him to pick up. But if he wants to go get out his brains till July, August, September, October, that's up to him, innit? If you don't fancy it. But don't try and make out we're all fools. They think the Joe Public's fools and people saying, oh, you call it porky. No, loads of people called it in the industry and they were all telling me, but they weren't coming out and saying it. You see where I'm coming from? So, no, I didn't call it. I just said what I felt, but everybody else said the same thing. I'm not going to expose these people, but a lot of them should be embarrassed. Carl Froch called it like I called it. I didn't see anybody else. Eddie was saying it behind the scenes. And I was like, go on, Eddie. And I thought, well, why ain't he saying it on his Twitter or his Insta or in interviews with Cougs? They just weren't coming out and saying it, Andy. But they all wanted to say it. And this is why it gets me. You know what I mean? This kind of stuff. Gets me goat, it does. And you're like these YouTubers, like that PC Gully, Officer PC Gully from Boxing King Media. Yeah, you're old Bill, mate. You live near me. You're old Bill. You were saying it as well, weren't you? But you didn't want to burst your bubble out there, did you? And ruin your chances in Saudi. Did you, PC Gully? You were running around saying it, but you never said out on your socials. The Gad. Now, I don't know if he was saying it, probably not, because he's that removed from reality, innit? But a lot of people were saying it, you know what I mean? Big Mouth was saying it, but he never came out and said it, did he? Because they want to still stay in the mix, because half of them have got no knackers. Where do we go now, Andy? What do you think?
I wondered if Usyk would fight Hergovic.
Well, they'll hope for that, won't they? Because they'll hope that Ergovic can get rid of him. They keep putting obstacles in the guy's way, don't they?
Yeah.
Del Boy, Joshua twice, Ergovic. You see where I'm coming from? They keep putting obstacles in front of him, but Ergovic won't be able to live with you, say.
Have you noticed that Eddie Hills is very careful what he says nowadays? Now he's got tied in with Bricktop and the Saudi law.
Of course, you listen, Eddie
No
Hill,
committal. No committal.
Andy, if they were going at it like they were, listen, if they were no Saudi money and this were a British fight in Britain, yeah, Eddie
Yeah.
Hills would be all over this with Coogan. he'd be all over it. But now look what he's doing. He's coming out and he's basically unzipping Tyson's pants and noshing him off. Tyson, and listen, Tyson hasn't got much down there to nosh. What Eddie's doing to do for him. And you know what I mean? He's not packing heat like Horsecock Nelson, but Eddie's not going to blow his chances out there. I know deep, 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 deep down what Eddie's thinking. He's rubbing his hands with glee, but he's not going to want to spoil his chances. And this is what you've got. You've got proper double standards. They're not real people. Be real people, be real. They're not real. Andy, they're not real people, mate. Eddie's loving it behind the scenes, loving it. And listen, my phone's red hot, mate, but this is how I look at it. All you have to do is come out and give an opinion. I looked at it all, and I looked at reactions years ago. I told it on the video tonight. I said I were over there 2016. We were. And mentioning Usyk's name, people were doing the owl. Peter Fury's exact words were, he's a very serious guy, Usyk. We cleaned up in it. European, world, and Olympic gold. Right, 350 fights, 15 defeats as amateur, as a young'un. Rematched 11 of them. Cleaned up at cruiserweight, undisputed. He's got every belt at heavyweight except one. He's a serious guy. He's a southpaw as well. He's a box of tricks, and he's not a small man. They keep saying he's a small man. I've even said that. He's 6'3", 16 stone. That's enough to see him off. And don't forget, he's not covered himself in glory with fans. The shape he's in, the attitude, he's got all them hangers on around him, blowing smoke up his arse. It's all pointing to one way. Either he's going to pull out or he's going to get flogged. Now, you don't want to lose that all, because if he gets beat, that's it. This is why the father won't have a fight. The father will not have a fight. He won't, mate. And do you know why? Because you know when he
Doesn't want
got...
to get beat.
Listen. You know when he got flogged him? I give him a DVD, John Fury, years ago. My friend Neil Malpass beat him on points. I'll get you DVD. Yeah, get it. When I went for another copy off that Steve Oldsworth, he wouldn't give me it. So why? Because Big John Fury had rung him up and told him HBO were doing a big piece on him, and that any copies of him were worth thousands. So me and Mickey Fio were like, well, we're knackered here then. Luckily, somebody put me in touch with Eric Guy. Now, he's passed away, him now. And we managed to get a DVD copy. Mick paid the money out. He went across London to Kingston upon Thames. He got this DVD. He gave me it. And it's on my channel, innit? He went ballistic, him, because everybody could see that, well, he's not worth a sausage, is he? He's not worth a carrot, is he? Basically. White collar masquerading as an heavyweight. Takes nuts to get in there as well. So I'm not knocking that. But you saw where we were about. He's had to live that down. Every time he puts his head down on pillar, he sees me, Big John Fury. Because I tell it straight. The son don't want that happening to him. So they pick the
You seem to,
battles, haven't they? They pick the battles, mate. That's what bullies do. They pick the battles.
he seemed to give it a go in their fights, but he just came up short, eh? So that's it. He's know what
Yeah,
he
he
says.
came up short when Frank Grant sparred him in Leeds as well, a middleweight. And he
Did
bashed
he?
him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Grant bashed him up. And he was going, yeah, I've been working all day out building sites. He said, John, you've never done a day's work in your life. This is a true story. He went outside, right? This is a true story. And it was Tyson's mum, Amber, and she was pregnant at the time. So you can work it out when it was, what year Tyson was born. And he got in his tranny, and as he ran off, Frank Grant ran out and he was attacking door. So get back in here, you, mouthing off. He got flogged by a middleweight. Pop, bang on that one, John. They
Yeah.
don't want you. They don't want you to burst the bubble or tell the truth. That's the bottom
That's it.
line with these charlatans. That's all they are. Confidence tricksters. And now they're even stringing along this Turkey guy, who, from what people are saying, is fuming.
Oh, he was,
Absolutely
yeah.
fuming over this, mate. They've got egg on the face, haven't they? Because what they do, they're messers. It's all right going out there to Saudi and taking watches off him, and he took that car off him, didn't he? And all that brand new car and everything. Well, you've got to get in ring a fight. Let's have a fight, get in. They don't want to... Listen, what did I say? He don't want to fight. And if he does, he'll be took kicking and screaming to that ring. And it didn't happen, did it? So yeah, I called it, but listen, I weren't the only one calling it. There were bigger people than me. Julian called it, McGowan. It's like the Conor Ben thing. What did I say about that when it all came off? I said, look, they're going to go all down these avenues. No, it's going to work. And the last one, the last card to play will be the mental health dinner. It's just logical stuff. Looking at these people, they're not
Yeah.
hard to figure out. You know what I mean? So no, I didn't call it. It's just pretty simple, isn't it? Really, just look at the man's CV. Look how he's acting. You know, yeah, it's nice that people are leaving nice comments in my comment section because I do get a lot of stick, don't I? Let's have it right. I bring a lot of it on myself because I'm mouthy, aren't I? I get my point across because I didn't used to be like this when I started with Dennis. I was starry-eyed, but this is how it makes you. This is how it gets you. This makes you like this sport. It makes you like this, and I ain't got much patience. I've never had a lot of patience. Ask my kids, they'll tell you I've no patience whatsoever. I don't suffer fools, but these, you're dealing with people that constantly lie and cheat and try and have people over on a daily basis, every day of their lives. That's all they've ever done. These. And they're doing it to boxing fans now. I mean, look at the state of him on that photo there. Hunk, it says on his sweater. He got arrested in his caravan with a sweater on that said hunk. That just about sums him up. Look at his eyeballs there, crying his eyes out, begging forgiveness in the dock. You saw the article in the newspaper, didn't you, on my most viewed video? Begging and pleading and sending letters to the judge, begging letters. While you've got a man there that nearly had both of his eyeballs ripped out in front of his teenage kids. Can you imagine that happening to me in front of my kids? My kids are 12 this year, so in another year. They get everything, they get what's coming to them. But people buy into the rubbish, absolute rubbish. They pick the battles, these people, mate. That's all they do. They pick the battles. Millionaire, multi-millionaires from what? Conning public. I were hoping he got knocked out by Usyk if he fought. But I'm going to be honest about it because I don't like how they carry off. And the public, what
Uh,
you're going to see now, whether it's a cut or not, it don't matter now because they've had that many chances, they told that many lies, they'll turn on them now, and it's their own fault. They turned on
yeah.
them before when they won world title and they thought they could shoot the mouths off about this and that, didn't they? It backfired then, and then they blagged it with mental health, which were the biggest load of shite ever. Everybody knows it, but nobody's pulling them up on it because they don't want to lose access or they're frightened of getting him carrying off the pit bull. Like that, innit? Listen, mate. Bullies, mate. Bullies. And listen, it'll all come out one day about him here. Hunk. That's his new name. Hunk.
Seen him going daft on that interview. So I seen the interview before it got edited, and he was just spitting bile, spitting venom, and he was like, Cobra had a perfect response to him, didn't he?
Listen, mate.
Brilliant.
The video that he said about Carl Froch, I've now seen what he said, and Carl's seen it. It's disgusting, mate, what was said.
Ah,
And you know them
terrible.
at Boxing Social, they're disgusting as well for editing it and messing it all about. They should hang their
Yeah,
heads in shame. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? They're getting a bad reputation now, Boxing Social now, because they're just not doing the jobs. These people,
yeah,
they're not journalists no more. They're not journalists no more. And people saying I'm jealous and all that. Andy, you've seen what I have to do in day. Have I got time to run up and down country like them? I ain't got the time, mate.
yeah.
I'm happy for them because half of them know the boxing, but they're frightened because they can't get no else going in their life, so they've got to kiss arse. They are in-house media people now. Phelps, Puppy Parsons, Coogan, Flexen. They're in-house media people. They're not journalists. Journalists are Colin Hart, Pat Sheenan, Matt Christie, Trish Dixon. They're your journalists. They're boxing people. These aren't. They're arse kissers that have got platforms and they're manipulated because they're easy to manipulate by these promoters. Just get softened up. That's what they do. I used to see Dennis do it all the time. I said, I don't like him there, Dennis. He said, no, I've got to soften him up. We're going to need him down line. That's just how it works, but it's not journalists. What does Terry say? The camera jockeys, aren't they?
Mm. It's like the mainstream media with the government. They're all drinking out the same trough, eh? So they're all in
Yeah,
it together, eh? They're all corrupt. Their media's not being the media. And John Cleese, of Faulty Towers and Monty Python fame, he came out. I think did he not actually leave Britain because he said the media in Britain is the most corrupt media
Yeah,
in the world. Eh?
yeah, yeah, he did, yeah. And he's
And
right.
and we get told that no, we get told that the Russians are fed with propaganda, or the North Koreans or whatever are fed. What are we getting fed with? I mean, the BBC is just a government trumpet, isn't it? Again, it's just I don't watch telly anymore. Really. I just watch YouTube. Try and stay away from all that nonsense. But nah, that's the way it is. And I'm sure you wanted to see the fight as much as I did. So it is a
Of course I did,
disappointment.
yeah.
It's nice.
Of course I did, but I just knew that I know he picks his battles. I know he picks his battles. Look,
Yeah.
I know, listen, trust me, he picks his battles and he got Vlad. He could have had Vladimir when in 2012, He could have had
Mm,
Vladimir after Chisora, but he didn't want to know. He didn't want to know, mate. So they waited it out and waited it out till they were 40. We know what happened, don't we? It was a
mm.
stink. We were throwing 60 feints around. Vladimir had never seen anything like that. Now he can't throw 15 around. Because he's getting older, you see. He's not 15 now, it's 24, 9 years later. Can't do it. And he knows that. And don't forget, Usyk don't drink and all that, and he's in shape and all that. He's a serious, serious guy, mate. And that's Dave Allen. Dave Allen's been in with both of them. Ask Dave Allen, but Dave will come out and say, oh, Tyson's is bigger and all that. Look, he knows he's got to say that. But David, you've been in with both of them. Tell the truth. And you've been in with Joshua. Like, Joshua's big and hollow. David will tell you that. The bar ain't as strong as they're not. Usyk's way too much for Fury. Way too much. And Fury's on the slide. So just pull that. Now, do I
Mm.
believe it's a cut? Listen, they've wheeled him out, haven't they, the guy? They wheeled him out already, but I hadn't seen the clip. But do you know what? I'm not even bothered about watching it because the gad's like the PR guy for a minute. There'll be alternative people in newspapers saying different, but the majority will go with a cut. They won't question it because they're frightened. Even if there weren't a cut, they'd be saying there was a cut because they
Aye.
need access. Oh, otherwise the big fellow just say, "Right, you banned. That's it, banned." Well, like I said,
Gad's
boy who cried wolf.
Gad's the man with the sweet corn. He's dishing it out to his mates now.
Yeah.
Um, the if it is a genuine cut, why is he sparring with? Has he been sparring without headgear on? Because his headgear no come round the top of the eyebrows.
Listen, they're
What's
surrounded
happened
by
there?
people who don't know what they're doing, do they? That's
Yeah.
the bottom line. They don't know what they're doing, them around him. They're pandering to what he's saying. Now, any fighter that says, I'm not wearing an head guard, the trainer should be there to say, you're wearing one.
Aye.
I don't know.
Regardless. Eh?
I don't know what's gone on. But there's only one man calling shots in that camp, and it's him. If he gets up and he says, oh, it's raining outside, they'll all be walking about with umbrellas, even if it's sunny.
That's it.
That's the bottom line. Now, where does he go from here? Well, when he comes back, if it's October, he's going to need a warm up fight, isn't he?
It's
So
just
they're going
it's
to
all
have to
gone
put
out.
more millions. And then it goes on and
Who's
on and on again. Then it goes into 2025. And it just gets away and away and away. And this is how it goes, isn't it? You know?
maybe Usyk should fight Hergovich and put the WBC belt on the line, or even an interim WBC belt. That'll put the pressure on Fury to get. So, but then WBC is just going to pander to them, aren't they? So they're not going to do that, are they?
I'd like to see Fury champion Emirates, right?
Yeah,
And WBC freed up.
yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. They've got to do that now to get the public back on board because the public have bought into this undisputed. All you're going to have now is, listen, all you're going to have people now, they're going to turn on them and they're going to be like, what's going on here? But people are going to say, whether it's right, it's cut or not, they're going to give them some stick anyway because they've had it coming, haven't they?
Yeah,
That's all on these messers. Messers about.
maybe maybe the Turkey man can lean on them. Maybe he'll lean on the WBC. He's got the power, and he's a man with the cash, isn't he? So if he pays sanctioning fees or starts talking to WBC, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, well, he's the only one that can sort it now in with tea towel on his head.
It's his train set now, isn't it?
A
He's
man
calling the
with
shot.
a man with a tea towel on his head and the Gad's sunglasses. He's calling the shots. Well, it's true, isn't it?
that could be me. That could be like that.
Yeah. Go on, get your weapon. You'll get done on that for wearing that on here.
I'll be me. I'll be a bloody racist or something like that.
We're not allowed to say out or do are we nowadays, but
That's right. You can't have a laugh, eh?
it's sad what's happened, but they've had it coming, haven't they?
That's
It's
it. I mean, if you know what, that just you sum it up perfectly. That just serves them right. If kind of all this pandering about and pissing about or whatever, and if they just turn around and say no, like they made Vitali champion emeritus, didn't they? When he injured a knee, but then he came back eventually, didn't he? He came back after a couple of years or whatever, or some time out. Anyway, that freed the belt up, so somebody else could. But he came back and got a straight shot at the belt. I think that was the deal, wasn't it?
somebody just sent me a text here. Darth Vader. Oh God. I
But
know, yeah.
Dark Watch. No, Adam Booth, is it?
No, Darth Vader.
Adam
And it's
Booth.
saying,
Adam.
Porky, you was right in your video, because I was the first one to get one out, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Porky was right in your video about what's gone on. You said George, somebody will be wheeled out to say George Foreman got cut in 74. You know, well,
Right, yeah.
and Frank Warren's just come out on Talksport and said that. Well, I meant Frank
Uh,
Warren, but I didn't say it in the video. Point I want to make is anytime anybody gets cut in sparring, right? Frank Warren always uses that one. Well, it happens, doesn't it? You can't go in the shower if you not get wet. Even
uh,
George got cut in sparring for Ali fighting it, put it back. Yeah, but this ain't going to be put back a month, is it?
no,
He just don't want it, mate. If it's not in you no more, it ain't in you.
that's it.
You know, so the Gad can do all he wants and go into bat for him. He's just become an embarrassment now. He's become like Gareth A. Fury, hasn't he?
No.
Well, it's because Gad, you have become a embarrassment, right? You're embarrassing, and Colin Hart, I respect, but he's a bit of an embarrassment as well when it comes to anything to do with a Bricktop fighter. Bricktop's going to be running around flapping. He'll have another dint in his head by end at night, sweating. But they're just going to say, we've got a contract, this and that. Listen, you've got a contract. They're not going to start coming out with that shit with these Saudis because they don't mess about. They're messed about. And do you know what these Saudis, they're going to look at this lot and they're going to say, do you know what? Already, it's at the beginning of this Saudi takeover. Already there's problems
Yeah.
dealing with these people. They're having to deal with Bricktop, and you've got Eddie Hills. He didn't say a word, as you've just said, Derry. Sat quietly. Normally, he'd be all over this going, phew.
Loving
Yeah,
it, eh? But normally loving it.
he
Out
rubbed
loud.
his
Loving
nose
out
in
loud.
it. Listen, behind the scenes, I've heard back, somebody just said to me, I'm not going to say who, I'll tell you in a bit. Behind the scenes, this guy said to me, Eddie will be jumping up and down like a kid on Christmas morning, won't he? Well, he will, won't he? Eddie Hills, the Iceman.
That's it. Did you see the Gad crashing Big Johnny's interview with IFL?
Did I see him what?
See the Gad crashing Johnny's interview with IFL.
Oh, on when tonight?
No, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Right,
Oh,
he
the
was.
guy in Carl Frotcher's video.
I think it was. I
Well,
just came. Didn't I?
well, Carl Frotcher's video, he just told it straight, didn't he? Basically,
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely spot on. Eh?
he told it straight, and he's doing one about this. So I haven't checked yet, but I'll catch. There's loads for me to catch up on. Listen, what time
Yeah.
is it? 10:30 now on a Friday. I've been bang at it since 5:30, so we're up at 5:30, so that's like 17 hours, isn't it? I pulled up and
Aye.
Rob run me for half an hour. And we're asking, is it true? Is it true? Yeah, so I can't believe it, lad. Yeah, you couldn't believe it, Robin. I can't believe
Uh,
it. It's close as well, wasn't it?
yeah. It's disappointing. It's just when we think things were getting going, and it's the balloon get burst.
Well, look,
Uh,
you know when they sent that guy home, J.O. Pataya, right? When he got sent home, everybody were doubting it then, weren't they? Like, because you won't fly somebody who's pound for pound, the cruiserweight king. You won't fly him in because he's sharp like Usyk and all that. You wouldn't do that to send him packing after 15 minutes sparring, would you? Without you being dropped or something has happened. Or he's turned you on his head that much you thought, do you know what? Well, this is what I think. I don't think he got dropped, right? But I think, and there's a couple of other people think this, but because we don't know, we're only assuming. I don't think he got dropped against J.O.P.T. I think he stood him on his head and they said, here, you're way off the pace. That's what I think's
couldn't hear.
happened.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only, I'm not going to say who said that to me, but somebody else said that to me who knows boxing very well. And he said to me, I don't think he got dropped. I think he's off at pace, and Tyson knows his boxing. And I think Tyson's done a Julian. He's looked in the mirror. And I think he's thought, do you know what? I've got a contract here for 2 fights. I've got to look for a way out here because I'm gonna end up getting served up. That's what I think personally. I don't think he got dropped. 'Cause I think the kid. I don't think that kid would lie. I think that kid more or less got stuck into him, and he thought, "Ooh, you know what I mean?" And
Do you
that's what
think he maybe? Do you think he maybe did to Fury what Usyk did to Vladimir years ago
Yeah, I
when he
do.
was
I'm just coming to that. You took the words right out of my mouth, kid.
right?
They got Usyk in to spar him, didn't they, before Vladimir fought with David A?
Yeah,
And he proper set about him, didn't he? And turned him on his head. He didn't drop him, but he punched him all over, didn't he? And
made him.
Johnny Nelson and Bean watched it, and I think that exactly that's what happened. I
Mm,
think that's right because they got rid of Usyk in that camp, and I think they've sent JOPT on his way. But hang on a minute, you're a bit too lively. They bit off more than they could chew, didn't they, after
yeah.
Ungano? And I think they've
No,
been a way out since then. So it's quite possible that that cut could be a hoax or some skullduggery's gone on behind the scenes. Because listen, it won't be the first time it's happened, would it?
did you hear the guard saying that? Oh no, it was the other way about. Fury was bossing Jay Alpatia or something, or beating him
And
about
the
or
guy
something.
came out and said, "No, I heard it with him who did it all the way around." Well, why would you get rid of him then? If you're flying on all colours, you keep him in camp, won't you, and finish off the spars? You won't go
Doesn't
from
make
having
sense.
a kid like that, and they were paying him big dough, and they don't part with the money. Them usually they want you to spar for free for privilege, paying him big dough, right? You wouldn't do that, would you? You wouldn't.
Yeah.
He just. So that's when people like Kent and what other kid? The West. I think it might have been that West Brom kid who comes on channel. They were like, "Hang on a minute, what's going on here?" But Eddie Hills, oh, it's happening, it's happening. No, Eddie knew it wasn't going to happen, but he had to say that. Shown the sense up, haven't they? But like I said, if it is genuine, nobody's going to believe him. If it's a put-up job, they're going to get hammered. So they're on a loser to know. And I said from day one, if they pull out and it is a cut, they're going to get thrashed, aren't they?
Mm.
By me. Oh, well, I'll be honest. I'll be honest, mate. I was hoping that he got served up. But at least I'm going to say it.
That's it. Think the show will still go ahead.
Yeah, it's good
Well,
after,
do you
doesn't
think
it?
this? Yeah. Wonder who else is going to. Do you think Usyk will still fight then? Or?
Well, they've got here another 15 days to go. Yeah, they'll get somebody in.
Yeah, because he spent all the time training and he'll be on fire. He'll be wanting to get. He'll be ready to get going.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think he'd be too phased by a change of opposition like some people might. Yeah, I think he's pretty. I think he could do his magic on anybody. Yeah.
Why don't they get Martin McCauley in? I'm sure Billy Nelson will be knocking one out over this news. Well, you know what? I'm not being funny, but little
Oh,
Billy
aye.
put his time in. He deserves his moment in the sun.
Aye.
Everybody
He's a,
else has had their days, haven't they? David A, Chisora, you know, Adam Booth, Don Charles, they've all had their chances. So why not
yeah.
little Billy Nelson? Why can't they get big Martin McCauley in it? I mean, he'd take that fight in an heartbeat, wouldn't he, Martin McCauley?
Aye.
I'm calling for Martin McCauley to get his chance. Forget
Yep.
Ergovic, big stiff, big stiffy. Do you know what I mean? Let's get
That'd be
Martin
a good fight, yeah.
McCauley. Hey?
That'd be a good fight, Martin McCauley and or probably Zhang even, eh? Zhang or Martin
This is
McCauley.
why Dave Allen should always be in shape because if Martin McCauley's got a fight lined up and they offer him Fury one, the guy who McCauley were going to fight, if Dave Allen were in shape, he could have been ready, couldn't he? Instead of sat at
Yeah.
home eating lion bars, coulda, woulda, shoulda on IFL. See what I mean, David? I know you're listening. This is why I always used to say to you, and Dennis always says to you, always be ready. I remember once, I forgot the kid's name, Liam Cameron. He was offered a fight a week after he had a Commonwealth title win. He was offered a fight. And Liam said, now I've put 2 stone on in a week, Dennis. I'm not taking it. I can't be ready for 3 weeks. And it was for 17 grand, his biggest purse.
Jeez, oh.
I remember sat in office with Dennis and he was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He couldn't believe it. But that's just how it goes, isn't it? I'm afraid. Oh, Coldwell's done a sermon already. Hey, oh, Dave Coldwell, eh? AKA Bombay Dave. Bombay Dave straight away with a sermon. No messing about. So, hey, my video's over 10,700 in 4 hours.
I was
Oh,
watching it climb when I was watching. I think it was at 2,500. I could see it climbing as I was as I was watching it.
I
Spot
can't
on.
believe it. Porky in the mix for once.
And I'm eating humble pie because I said it would happen.
The guy texts me and he's gone, even a pig can find a truffle.
Ooh.
When I'm cheesed off, I just say, listen, mate, come and ask me that on Zoom, you weapon.
Aye. No
Even a
balls.
truffle, eh?
They'll have no balls to do that.
Well, they'll all be saying that when I do my Conor Ben video tomorrow or after his thingy, after his fight, because I said the only route left soon is going to be the mental health one. Because what can you say to somebody that's got mental health? This is what you say to people when they come out with mental health. They say, stop lying, stop kidding yourself. Go look at Porky's inbox in a moment, in a morning, in a moment. Go look at Porky's inbox. You don't see him coming out with mental health. Go do a year in solitary with no mattress on floor, no mental health coming out from this kid. And I know hundreds of kids who've been in prison, done sentences, have been in over a year minimum. And none of them ever come out with mental health. None of them. You laugh and joke your way through it. I mean, Anna and Grandad didn't come out with mental health in World War II when Germans were flying over here and heading up there to Sheffield, to steel capital of Europe, when they were heading up there to bomb it. Nobody mentioned the word mental health then, when all
Mm,
houses around here were all black and everybody's lights, windows were all blacked out, weren't they, and stuff. Nobody
mm.
used mental health then, Andy. But
Just
now
got on
what?
with it.
Cop out, isn't it?
Mm. I noticed Eddie Hills is putting the pressure on Conor Ben, no? Crusher Ben.
To do
He's
what? Not
saying,
let
oh,
the fight
well,
out.
well, he can't be calling any of the big names out if he should be like going right through this Peter Dodson, eh? So, and that'll be another distance fight, I think. That'll be
Well,
another,
if it was the distance,
maybe a
what's he
guy.
going to say then, Eddie? Oh, well, you know what? We've thought about it and we needed the rounds.
Nah.
You want to go to part two, kid?
Yeah, just give me 5 minutes.
Go on then.
Okay, mate.
Do
Cheers.
you want to go on? Do you want to call it 11:15 for part two? Yeah.
Yeah, go for that. Yeah,
Well then, all
good
right.
man.
Cheers, mate.
Well,
I'll see you on part two. Pop, pop, bang. Thanks for liking and subscribing. And leaving a comment. 200 kilo deadlifts with my armpits. Pop, pop, bang.